Ever get this feeling like maybe there's a whole lot more to the human story than we're told?
Hmm.
Today, we're cracking open some seriously big questions with Barbara Marciniak's Bringers of the Dawn.
Okay.
Now, before we go full cosmic, I know channeling isn't everyone's cup of tea, but the sheer scope of ideas here is wild, even if you take it with a grain of, well, stardust.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is that Marciniak doesn't just dip her toes into alternative history. She dives headfirst into the idea of Earth as this bustling intergalactic exchange center of information.
Mm,
Imagine it, beings from all corners of the cosmos choosing this little blue planet to contribute their DNA, creating, well, us.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. So it's not just that aliens visited, but that humanity is like a deliberate mixtape of galactic genes.
Exactly. But here's the catch. Imagine your potential is a powerful radio signal, but there's interference.
Uh-huh.
That's the frequency fence Marciniak describes, this barrier limiting our access to our full power.
Okay.
And get this, she suggests it's intertwined with our DNA, specifically the part scientists have labeled junk DNA.
Hold on, so that junk isn't so junk after all.
Precisely. Marciniak believes this junk DNA is primed for activation, potentially unlocking incredible abilities within us.
Wow.
Think enhanced senses, extended lifespans, like we've been playing a video game on the lowest settings, completely unaware of the hidden potential in the code.
Whoa. Okay, we're talking about beings from across the cosmos meddling in human affairs. This is some next-level stuff.
Right.
Speaking of powerful forces at play, Marciniak doesn't shy away from introducing some pretty intriguing characters into the mix, like the Lizzies. Who are these guys?
According to Marciniak, the Lizzies are these reptilian entities who have been pulling strings behind the scenes for millennia.
Okay.
Then you have the creator gods, these ultra-powerful beings who orchestrated this whole human experiment in the first place.
Experiment. So does that mean we're just lab rats in some cosmic game?
That's where free will comes in.
Okay.
Even with all these cosmic forces at work, Marciniak stresses that we always have the power to choose our own path. It's less about being controlled and more about encountering different aspects of ourselves,
Right.
even the ones that might seem strange or unsettling at first.
So where do we fit into all of this? Marciniak has some pretty interesting ideas, like, what if you're part of the family of light, sent here on a mission to wake humanity up?
She suggests people like you, who are drawn to knowledge and driven to make a difference, could be what she calls systems busters.
Systems busters.
Yes, instead of just accepting the way things are, you're here to question, to innovate, to imagine completely new ways of doing things.
Huh.
That's a pretty exciting role to play.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? Marciniak also talks about these holographic inserts. What are those all about?
Think of it like a movie set.
Okay.
It looks real, but it's just a facade.
Right.
Marciniak suggests some events might be staged like this to manipulate our perceptions, almost like we're living in a carefully constructed reality show.
Okay, now we're getting into some seriously mind-bending territory. And she even points to specific places.
She does. Marciniak highlights the Middle East as a major portal for these holographic inserts, suggesting some conflicts might be orchestrated for hidden agendas.
Wow, we're going to need a bigger corkboard to keep track of all this. But if these holographic inserts are clouding our perceptions, how do we see through them?
Marciniak suggests paying close attention to synchronicities, those seemingly random events that feel strangely meaningful.
Okay.
It's like the universe is trying to tell you something, urging you to look deeper.
Okay, I can get behind that. But it's not just about what we see, is it? She also talks a lot about the power of sound.
Absolutely. Marciniak believes sound can be a powerful tool for activating the living library within us, literally waking up dormant parts of our DNA and unlocking hidden memories.
Wait, hold on. Sound can activate our DNA. How does that work?
She talks about ancient practices like toning, using our own voices to create healing vibrations, and how certain frequencies can literally shift our consciousness. Think of it like tuning an instrument. Our bodies respond to specific frequencies, and Marciniak believes we can use sound to fine-tune our very being.
Okay, I need a minute to process that. So we're basically saying that reality is more like a simulation than a fixed thing. And we can influence it with our thoughts, our intentions, even our voices.
Precisely.
Wow. All right, you've officially blown my mind for one episode.
Right.
But Marciniak doesn't just drop these bombshells and leave us hanging, does she? She gives some pretty specific examples of how all this works.
She does, and some of them are pretty out there.
This is where it gets really interesting.
She talks about things like crystal skulls acting as ancient holographic computers, storing vast amounts of information.
Okay.
And the Ankh, that ancient Egyptian symbol, she believes it was used as a tool for modulating frequencies.
It's like we're rediscovering a whole secret language hidden in plain sight, in symbols and sound, even in our own DNA.
Yeah.
But how does this all play out on a larger scale? Does she ever address, like, the fate of the planet with all the shifting and changing going on?
She does. Marciniak suggests this transformation isn't just personal, it's happening to the entire planet. She calls it a dimensional shift, a kind of cosmic cleanse that will usher in a new era for humanity.
Okay, but cosmic cleanse doesn't sound like it'll be all meditation and green smoothies, right?
Right. Marciniak warns this shift might involve some serious upheaval.
Okay.
Think earthquakes, floods, even major cities collapsing.
Okay, that took a turn. So she's saying things might get a little bumpy before they get better.
It's one way to put it. But she emphasizes that these external events mirror our internal state.
Okay.
The chaos and upheaval we see in the world reflect the chaos and upheaval within ourselves. It's a call to take responsibility for our own energy and focus on inner peace, especially when things feel chaotic externally.
So instead of panicking about the what-ifs, we should be focusing on our own inner Zen gardens.
Essentially, it's about recognizing that we have more control than we think,
Okay.
especially over our own energy and reactions.
All right, that makes sense. But where do we even begin? How do we cultivate that inner peace, especially with all this talk about dimensional shifts and collapsing cities? It feels like a lot to process.
Marciniak suggests starting with our beliefs, specifically those limiting beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world.
Okay.
She uses money as an example. How many people believe wealth is scarce,
Right.
that you have to struggle and sacrifice to earn it?
Yeah, I've definitely bumped into that belief a time or two.
Right. She challenges that,
Okay.
suggesting we can manifest abundance effortlessly if we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance.
Okay, that's a pretty radical idea. So instead of stressing about bills, we should be visualizing piles of money raining down.
Not exactly. It's more about consciously choosing our thoughts and beliefs.
Okay.
When we focus on what we lack, we create more lack. But when we focus on what we want to create and believe it's possible, we open ourselves up to receiving it.
So it's about shifting our focus from I don't have enough to I am open to receiving abundance.
Exactly, and it goes beyond material possessions. Marciniak emphasizes aligning our intentions with our highest purpose, becoming conscious creators who contribute to the evolution of consciousness itself.
So we're not just ordering up fancy cars and dream vacations on the cosmic menu.
Not exactly. It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our reality. We're not passive bystanders. We can choose what we focus on, what we believe, and what we create. And those choices have ripple effects.
I like that, ripple effects. So how do we get better at placing those cosmic orders? Is there a secret formula or something?
Well, Marciniak uses this very interesting analogy. She compares life to a restaurant.
A restaurant. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
She says, just like in a restaurant, we browse the menu, choose what we want, and trust that the chef will prepare it.
Right.
We can approach life the same way. Okay.
We need to get clear about our desires, place our order with the universe, and then trust that it will be delivered.
Okay, that actually makes sense. No more micromanaging the chef.
Right. It's about trusting the process, knowing that the universe is conspiring to deliver your order in the perfect timing and way.
I love that. But what about those times when the order gets messed up?
Sure.
Or when life throws a curveball and things don't go according to plan?
Marciniak acknowledges that challenges are inevitable.
Right.
But she encourages us to view them as opportunities for growth and learning.
Okay.
We're here to experience the full spectrum of human emotions,
Right.
even the uncomfortable ones. It's about embracing the journey, twists, turns, and all.
So instead of resisting the bumps in the road, we should try to learn from them. Exactly, because those bumps often lead us to exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time.
Easier said than done sometimes. But it's more than just thinking positive thoughts and hoping for the best, right? She also talks about taking action, becoming pattern breakers. What does she mean by that?
She means we need to be willing to step outside our comfort zones and try something different.
Okay.
She uses the example of someone who wants a relationship but keeps attracting the same type of partner.
Oof, I know that story.
Instead of repeating the same patterns, she suggests being willing to take risks and try a new approach.
It's about breaking free from those self-imposed limitations, those I can't and I shouldn'ts that keep us stuck. But it's not just about individual action, is it? She also talks about the power of collective consciousness.
Absolutely. Marciniak stresses the importance of unity, of recognizing our interconnectedness. She believes that when we tap into the power of collective consciousness, when we align our intentions and work together towards a common vision, we can achieve extraordinary things.
So it's not just about our individual journeys, it's about recognizing that we're all in this together.
Precisely. And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, so we're talking about tapping into this collective power, but where does that even begin? I mean, it's not like we can just wave a magic wand and suddenly everyone's on the same page, right?
Well, Marciniak believes it starts with awareness,
Okay.
recognizing that we're not isolated individuals,
Right.
but interconnected threads in the tapestry of life. Each thread might be unique, but together we create the bigger picture.
So it's about shifting from me to we, recognizing that our actions, our thoughts, even our energy impacts the whole.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just human interaction. Marciniak emphasizes connecting with the natural world, honoring and respecting all forms of life.
Right.
She even talks about Earth as a sentient being, a living library of wisdom.
That reminds me of her point about lawns. She wasn't a fan of perfectly manicured grass, was she?
Not really. She saw it as a sign of disrespect toward nature, imposing our will on the environment instead of working in harmony with it.
So instead of trying to control nature, we should be learning from it.
Precisely. It's about shifting from a mindset of dominance to one of reverence and cooperation. And it's not just about protecting the environment. Marciniak suggests that by deepening our connection with nature, we can unlock hidden potentials within ourselves.
So nature's like this wise teacher we've been ignoring, almost like it holds up a mirror, reflecting back our own innate wisdom and power.
Exactly. And speaking of inner wisdom, she also talks about the importance of listening to our bodies, paying attention to our intuition, and following our inner guidance.
Trusting our gut, even when it doesn't make logical sense.
Exactly. In a world that often prioritizes the rational mind, Marciniak reminds us that our bodies are incredible sources of wisdom. She encourages us to pay attention to our dreams, synchronicities, gut feelings, those subtle nudges from our higher selves, guiding us toward our highest path.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but our bodies communicate in some pretty weird ways sometimes. Like, what about cravings? Does she have anything to say about what we should be eating on this whole evolutionary journey?
She does. Marciniak suggests that as we raise our vibration, our bodies will naturally crave foods that support our evolution. She encourages listening to your body, experimenting, and finding what works best for you.
So no more forcing down kale smoothies if they make you gag.
Exactly. It's about finding what nourishes your body and soul, and it's not just about what we eat. Marciniak also talks about the importance of movement, finding ways to move our bodies that bring joy and vitality.
Whether it's dancing, hiking, swimming, whatever lights you up and makes you feel alive.
Precisely. It's about treating our bodies as temples, honoring them with nourishing food, mindful movement, and loving care.
This has been quite the deep dive. We've covered everything from cosmic DNA to the power of sound, symbols, and the importance of connecting with nature and ourselves. It's a lot to process, but you've given us plenty to think about.
It certainly is. But if there's one key takeaway from Marciniak's work, it's this. We are powerful creators with the ability to shape our own reality. We're not victims of circumstance. We have the power to choose a different path, to create a better world for ourselves and for generations to come.
It's a powerful message, a call to step into our greatness and embrace the limitless potential within each of us. So what will you create? How will you choose to shape your reality? The choice, as always, is yours.